So then the maintenance people on that field sent out 2 tractors, and they hooked onto the landing gear, the front wheels of our plane, and tried to pull it with that. Well, they were able to pull it about, as I remember, about 8 feet or so, and that was it. It was just too deep in the mud. So they decided, well, okay, we'll take the bombs off of it. So they open the bomb bay doors, and the bomb bay doors were setting too low in the mud that the bomb bay doors won't open all the way. And so they can't mechanically unload the bombs. They've got to do it manually. And I forget, these were 100-pounders that we had. So they have to unload all those bombs and get them off of our plane onto a cart. And when they finally do, then they hook up, then they've got the 2 tractors to try it again. And they were able to pull us out and get us out on the runway. We then took off and went back to our field, where the pilot and myself got reamed royally by our squadron commander and his boss for failing to listen to the radio properly, and we should not have made that error. And they're right, we shouldn't have, but we did. But it all worked out. In the end, everything was okay. Then, on the day that the pilot flew a mission with another crew as a co-pilot the first time, and then we flew as a crew the next mission, all 10 of us.
What's approximately the date at this point?
This would have been probably in March of 44. And our first mission was to Berlin, which was the second daylight mission to Berlin. It was the second time that the Allies had run a daytime mission to Berlin. And so before we got on the plane, everybody went to the tech center, which was a building at the airport, out there in the field where they had the parachutes and stuff like that, and the harness and all. And like everybody else, I got a harness and a chest pack chute. And the pilot and the co-pilot, they have backpacks that they set on. It's easier for them to be setting on the chute than to wear these other outfits. And after that first flight to Berlin and seeing planes go down, I decided that I don't want to be that far away from my parachute from now on. So from then on, I always checked out a backpack. And that's what I always had with me. I had my chute with me. And so that first mission was a success. Everything was all right. And we had other missions, and following that to other places in Germany. And we always flew, at that point, we flew our bomb group, the 305th, would put 18 planes in the air. We'd have 6 in the first squadron, and then 6 in each of 2 other squadrons. And in our group, that's what we had, was 3 daylight bombing squadrons. All other groups had 4. Our 4th group, though, was a nighttime bombing group. They dropped leaflets and phony money and things like that to disrupt the economy in Germany and France. And they also provided planes with the newest type of
It's kind of like a night vision technology that they have.
No. They had some planes that were equipped with a new Norden bomb sight.
Could see better in dark.
Could see better through the clouds,
Okay.
through cloud cover and all.
Wow.
And so they would frequently provide the lead ship if it had been determined that the target was going to be covered with clouds. but other than that, we would have our own 18 planes. Well, one, we, and I think every flight provided what was called the diamond. We flew the lead ship of a 3-ship element behind the lead element. 3-ship planes being an element, and we would fly behind that 3 ships, but we had planes on either wing then. And then there'd be a high squadron and a low squadron. And that's what we were doing the day we went down. Except that the day we went down, we were flying a different formation. We ourselves were doing the same thing. We were still flying the Diamond. But the day before that mission, we had flown a new formation to bomb the airport in Paris, WJF. And it was one where there was a 3-ship high squadron and a 3-ship low squadron. They were taking 6 planes away from our group and the other groups that were going with the same formation. The second day, we flew it the first day and it was all right. The second day, the lead ship had problems, engine problems on the way out, and had to abort. And so the deputy lead moved into the lead position. Normally, under the old setup, the high squadron would have sent one of his outer wingmen down to fill that vacancy down there. But with this new formation, being only 3 planes up there, I'm sure the guy running that squadron did not want to lose the firepower of one of his planes, so he chose to fly off of a vacancy, really. That's what he was guiding from. As it turned out, that day, that was our bomb run to Kiel, and from what was called the IP, the initial point, was where the bombardiers would take over the flight of the plane. They controlled the plane. And they normally were 20, 30 miles from the target. They weren't far. This one was 117 miles, as I remember. It was a long ways down across Denmark to the target. And there were several times during the course of that flight that our top turret gunner would call to the pilot and tell him that there's a plane over us. And because we had a plane on each wing, there wasn't much maneuvering that we could do. And it looked like the guy up there recognized the problem and had moved over. And so everything was all right, except at the very last second, he had moved back over and dropped his bombs. And they came through us. They came through our left wing and through the